Hello and welcome. I'm here. It is I. We're streaming a thing. I'm just gonna get into it. Turnip. Hello. And thank you for the subscription. I appreciate it. That's quite a long time. Yeah, I was thinking it might be a Jesse one. Either Jesse or Roz. Can't be Tank because it has sleeves, whoever it is. Turn this music down ever so slightly. Cause it's a lot. Guess I can move this up a little too. Where's the center? Here we go. Artist formerly known as Yin Yang. Hello and welcome. Yeah. I had to think about where the thumb was going to be for that one just there. So we got like that. Okay. I'm concerned that this person isn't like chubby enough to be Jesse. Because the reference I'm looking at is of a very thin person. But I like the outfit and the pose. Key, hello. I'm well, Key. How are you? Sucking it in to impress Tank. He doesn't have to do that. You got the drawstring bag? Nice. May it hold all of your items well. This person doesn't have like a collar poking out of this shirt, but I like the idea of that, so that's what's happening now. We got the only hug shirt, nice. May it bring you many hugs in the future. Who's cracking you up? I need more roundness. On this here face. I don't usually plan out Jesse's hairline before drawing his hair, but I feel like I should do it more often because that was probably the most painless that I've ever drawn his hair, I guess. We want this a little bit wider here. Okay, please. Okay. And so the lighting for this kind of comes this way. Ah, an Easter egg. What are we adding to this? does need to be. That's a little better. Maybe bring these shoulders down a little bit less. Pretty good. Something like that, I guess. He looks good. Well, we gotta add something. Not this, actually. Because this kind of comes down like that. Oh. Okay then. How do I... Nope. Hold on. Maybe I have to do it over here. I'm gonna do a thing. Hold on. Where's the... Here we go. How do I... He's a ghost. Oh no. Here, Key. I'm gonna give these back. And then if you figure out what it is you want, you can just do it again. But I don't want you to waste all those points. Okay. Let's start here. Alejandro, hello. I'm kind of feeling these like big, loose, chunky lines, so that's gonna be what we do for this one, I think. Micah, hello. Welcome. Something like here. Nope. So I've been bothered by a thought all day. Well, not all day, but for like a good portion of the day. upon like returning home. This was like the thing that was bothering me during my commute, I suppose. Jesse is not quite ready for spooky season, but he is wearing some more fall appropriate fashion, I guess. But yeah, so the thing that kind of ties into the spooky season thing, I guess, is I didn't want to do like the same sort of thing I did last year. I mean, I did, but I didn't want to do like the same monsters I did. So I've been trying to think of like new things to do for spooky season. And one of the ideas I had for a minute was to just like make them all animals. Because for the most part I have like an animal in mind for them. But, or I should say I had one. But, yeah, basically just give everybody personas. That's like the plan that I had for a second. But then I realized that my like initial one of those for Felix would be like much better as someone else now. So I don't know what to do. Because initially Felix was like a bull in my brain. Like a minotaur kinda. But a cow would be so much better for Junior. Like a cow bull situation. One of them things. So I was like, maybe I need to find a different animal for him. So I've been like struggling to think of what other animals might work for Felix. I was thinking a buffalo, like a bison, but I don't know if that's too similar. When there are like so many other animals to choose from, I guess. Or maybe this is just like me overthinking. But that was like my my thought today of like what other animal would he be? Because all the other boys are like fairly easy for me to figure out. The only other one that I might like have troubles with is like Tank, maybe. 'Cause Tank was gonna be a bear, but he acts more like a dog. So I was thinking of making him a dog instead. I was still kind of on the fence about that one. But all the other ones, for the most part, I have figured out. A gorilla feels too close to like a person. But also, it feels like, I don't want to be like that guy about it, but it feels like offensive slightly because he's the darkest skinned character. So I'm like, I don't want to do that at all. Even if he is the bulky one. Oh, that dog that looks like a bear? That could be fun. I was thinking it would be very, like, obviously a dog, though. Don't want to accidentally do a racism, that's true. Because I know that isn't, like, the intent, but I am certain that someone will say something on Twitter or Instagram, whether it's the intent or not. A lion? Maybe. Also, hello, pumpkin. Welcome. But extra kinds of bears? No, because there are some that are, like, very much not bears. Like, Kai would either be a shark or a whale. I haven't fully committed on that one either, but I'm thinking maybe an orca whale, so that I could still do fun patterns for him, like his tattoos. That might be fun. If you're not offended, you haven't been scrolling enough. I mean, you're not entirely wrong. But also, I don't want to... Like, if I have the option to avoid offending a person, I will take that option instead. Jesse is actually the one who would be the cat. He is very cat-like. And also he has a cat, so I feel like it works, kinda. This is too many lines here. I think I'll just stick to that many. House Pets Halloween? I don't know what that means. Is that like a thing? Am I out of the loop? Oh, that is alright, Key. I figured I would just give them back until you figured out what, if anything, you wanted to do with them, or save them for another drawing. Your cat plays computer games and blushes. Well, no, it's because it's like he wants the attention, but also don't come near me or touch me. You know what I mean? Or it's very much like, hello, I would like you to know that I am appreciative of you, and also I want your affection, but also don't look at me directly. Or I'll be mad at you for some reason. Or maybe that's just my experience with cats. Grill computer games and blush. I didn't intend for that line to kind of skip that way, but it is kind of okay, so I'm going to keep it that way. Oh, not quite. Close enough. Cecil was going to be a wolf. Wolf. Sounded like I said wolf there, but I think you guys get the point. My plan was Cecil's a wolf, and Roz is like an armadillo or something. And then I mentioned all the other boys, I think. Part of me wants to make Roz an armadillo just so I can, like, get some, gigantic nostalgia. Not like very large nostalgia, but nostalgia for the game called Gigantic that doesn't exist anymore. And it makes me sad every day that it's gone. No, it has to be like an animal. That's what we're going for as animals here. And I agree, Key. Gigantic was very good, and I miss it. I still have it on my PC, and it makes me sad. I'll look at it every now and again and try to boot it up, and it's just like trying to contact the servers, but it never works. Paco will live on in my heart for all of eternity. And also Rutger, because he was pretty dope as well. Those were my mains. Procreate, please. Oh. This hand seems too flat, I guess. don't fully know how to fix it, though, is my problem right now. Gnosis was fun. Or Gnosis. I never fully figured out how to say his name because I didn't really play him that much. I feel like there's another person, though, that I did play, sort of, but not a ton, that I'm not thinking of. I played a decent bit of Mozu at the start. That's the mouse one, right? And Grismelda, the old lady. Man, I miss that game so much. Over here reminiscing about it now. If you haven't played Gigantic, go watch like a video essay or something on YouTube about it, because it's just such a treasure and I want more people to know that it existed. In the hopes that maybe it comes back someday. Quinn, thank you for the follow, I appreciate it. I hope all is well, wherever it is that you're at. Hope you're having a wonderful time. You're never good at casters. I understand. And I can respect that. Video essays are great. Always tons of info to be had there. I haven't drawn his eyebrows. Don't let me forget that I haven't drawn his eyebrows yet. Yeah. I've been like on a kick lately of a particular brand of Let's Play, though. I have to like look again to see what this person's name is, because I like binge watched a ton of their videos lately, but I cannot quite remember their name because I only just recently started watching their stuff. Maybe I have another tab open somewhere. Oh, they're Let's Game It Out on YouTube. And he is a person who plays like sim games, like simulator games, or at least games that like have some sort of, you can create a custom whatever in it in some way. And then he usually just kind of does whatever he can to destroy the game. It's pretty funny. I'm always interested to see how they decide to destroy things. You can kind of cheat the eyes a little bit extra by placing the pupils a little off-center. If you're wondering what's going on there with those. Oh, and thank you, Quinn. I'm glad that you're having a good time. It is not, in fact, implied that Felix has a bunch of Sailor Moon merchandise. Because that is true. He does. He has many Sailor Moon things. I don't draw his phone a lot, specifically because it's such a pain with all of the Sailor Moon charms. I think I've drawn it like once. And was like, I'm never going to draw him on his phone ever again. I'm just kind of filling in a cast shadow here for later. Oh no. Why did that not work? Something is not... Oh, it's this. There we go. And yeah, he is all about destroying things. I was just watching him play another roller coaster game a second ago, actually. And then I was like, oh right, it's Monday, I should stream. Felix is secretly a magical girl anime, it's true. He has a whole transformation sequence before he gets in the ring to fight people. Or something. I should draw that someday. That might actually be really fun. I'm gonna say this comes down a little further here. Like that, I guess. Oh, I also didn't give him facial hair. Oh no, that wasn't the right thing. I'm not sure if you can hear, but my chair is like extra squeaky today, and it's making me think I should just get a new one. But I don't wanna. But like I'm not even really moving at all, and it's just making sounds. It just wants to be heard. The one that I've got isn't bad. I've had it for quite a while, though. Parking my butt on it every day for a number of years is enough to slowly destroy it over time, I suppose. You just bought one? Nice. Did you get like a sick gamer chair? Like one of those elite gamers here on twitch.tv. I was going to draw leg hair on him, but then I remembered I'm giving him long socks. So we're not doing that, I guess. Okay. Oh, I should probably... what color do I want to do for this? The reference I'm looking at is like blue and purple, but I don't know if I want to do another blue one or another cool colored one after yesterday. I try to swap them out whenever I can. So maybe I'll do this color. Let's see how that goes. Oh, you already have a gamer chair? And it's not good? My condolences. I was thinking of getting one of those, what are they, Secret Labs or something? Because of all the gamer chairs, that one seems like the most comfortable and sturdy of them, I suppose. But also they're like $500 or something. So I was like, I'm gonna need to be very sure of this before I just sort of on a whim decide to purchase this chair. It really does depend on budget, though. You're right. Because honestly, I could just go get like a folding chair and call it a day, but I'd rather not. Or just go like full college on it and get some random thrift store chair that's older than I am. I had some friends with a house that, like, we had LAN parties in a few times. And I played in some old chairs before while on the PC. It was very funny, actually, thinking back on it now, because it was like this old, like, plush armchair. Meanwhile, the PC is rested on like a cheap $30 folding table. Good times. Kai does listen to ocean sounds while he's sleeping because his house is right on the ocean. He sleeps with the window open or something. One of those non-wheeled chairs you probably find in a computer lab at a library. Oh, okay. That's a good compromise. I wheel mine around too much, but I could probably live with a non-wheelie chair, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Because I'm pretty sure the only reason I wheel this one around so much is because it has wheels. If it didn't, I would just move it. Like, physically. But one without wheels is probably better because I feel like I'm constantly running over cables as well. I do my best to, like, freeze and not make things worse every time that I do that. I was gonna leave this line unfinished, but it is bothering me too much. Oops. Gotta do a wheelie. Do some sick Tony Hawk Pro Skater moves on my chair. So now you got a gaming chair and an extra clothing chair. Nice. That's the way to go. Alright, so we're doing... What are we doing? The wheat field one, right? I'm gonna move this up higher. Let's go with this color, maybe. Yeah. That's fine, I guess. This is not gonna be, though. That's too light. Let's just go with this color. Sure. And to keep it, like, in that same vibe, I guess. we'll do that. And the same with his glasses. Pretty good so far, I think. This is that color I was just using, right? I wanna... I'm gonna turn this off for a second. I'm gonna fill this in. Select that, do that, and do that. So now it'll be a little bit darker, like in the center, closer to him, and a little lighter further away. And actually I can probably push that a little bit more, so I'm going to do that now. Just going to fill this whole area. Just turn it down some. And actually, since it's the same color as the background, I don't really have to make any fancy selections here, so I'm just not gonna do it. But I will grab this color and put it here. Set it to like overlay or something. Just for a little bit of color variation in the background. No. There we go. Okay. So now we're gonna do my favorite thing. Wait. Oh, that's why. We're gonna do my favorite thing, which is just completely ignore the color palette that we just established. And just fill in everything with the like local colors that would always be there. I'm not a huge fan of these hands now that I'm looking at it, but I'm gonna ignore that for now. But yeah, so I'm not the greatest about choosing color a lot of the time. Actually, let me not do that because he has some up here too. Yeah, I'm not the best at coming up with colors a lot of the time, so this is my secret. If you are like me and you are also not great at coming up with colors, here's how I cheat it, basically. Is you just kind of completely ignore. I'm going to turn this off because that's still too bright, and I'll fix that whole deal later. You just kind of ignore the color palette that you established for yourself and fill in everything with the colors that you know them to be. So like his hair is always this color, and then I'm going to slap a bunch of stuff on top of it to kind of change it to fit the rest of the palette, so that I don't have to spend forever like, does this color go right with this? Is this going to fit into my palette? Now, I do still kind of consider those things slightly when choosing colors in general. But for stuff like his hair and his eyes and things that generally don't change, I use the same color every time. And then slap some stuff on top to make it not that. Oops. Who would win in a boxing match between Cecil and Felix? Felix. Felix is the only person Cecil doesn't mess with because Felix would beat him up. I was going to have that as like a fun drawing that happens at some point, but I don't know if I'll ever get around to it, so I'm just going to mention it now. Maybe it's a spoiler, I guess. So now we gotta fill in his eyes. The deep lore. It's true. Okay. So now I can just kind of go with stuff that like kind of maybe works or something. Where's that desert one, actually? There might be some stuff in here I can use that'll kind of fit. I think this might be cool. Not finished with the new season, I'm sorry. Spoilers. Oh no. I know, Turnip. I want to draw it. I just don't fully have like the execution planned in my brain yet, which is why I haven't drawn it yet. But I've had that idea floating around for a while. But if you thought him dunking on Tank was the worst of it, there is more that I had planned, but it was kind of a pain to do at that particular time, so I did not. But he was going to mess with all the other boys as well, in a similar fashion, around that time. I will give him this thing now, and it will match that up there. I'm not super concerned about like his pants or whatever. Because I'm gonna cover it up here in a second. That's too dark. This is a little better. He was not going to find aliens better than Roz, but he was going to do something else better than Roz. But now I don't want to give it away. But yeah, that's like part of the reason that the boys don't like him so much, is he's better than everybody at everything except Felix. But Felix doesn't generally care about things, so he wouldn't have been bothered either way. I just thought it would be a fun little subversion of like, oh no, he's just the best at all the things. His podcast gets higher numbers. Maybe. He also plays an instrument, but I haven't fully decided what instrument yet. It's one of two, but I don't want to give it away again. This is just me like rambling about all the things now that I want to do but haven't fully figured out how to do yet, I guess. This is gonna be the color of his shoes also. It's not a violin, but violin was among the choices. So maybe it is a violin, I guess I'll say. It's between a violin and one other instrument. And that's all I'm saying, unless you happen to guess it or something, I guess.
better Bigfoot pictures. All his Bigfoot pictures happen to be in focus and in frame. Nobody knows how he does it. Cecil's death stare does not scare Tank because Tank is not aware that he should be afraid. Tank just assumes everybody wants to be his friend, so he's not afraid of Cecil. He just thinks he's kind of mean. Let's try this color for his pants. The kazoo. 15th century harpsichord. Ooh. Played the fiddle better than Junior. No. Junior doesn't play an instrument. I'm gonna put his pants above this layer because I just said earlier that I was gonna cover this up so I wasn't paying attention to where I put his socks. I haven't fully determined how far away from where everyone lives Junior is, because he's not in the same place, but I don't know how far away I want him to be. I guess that's good enough. Okay. So honestly, this isn't too far off from the palette anyways, but I'm still just gonna do this move here. And it's gonna, wow, suddenly everything fits a little bit better. Amazing, astounding. You love to see it. This is the flat color layer. Zoro, I do not know what that says, but I'm gonna assume it's a compliment, so thank you. I think. Apologies for my lack of linguistic skills, though. Let's go with this for the shadows. Where all of the yeah, that was like my initial thought when I kind of came up with him as like a farmer. I was like, maybe it's just like those goofy video game style, all the biomes are next to each other kind of deals. Good night, Jinx. Thank you for stopping by. May you have some restful sleep. some super rad dreams and stuff. Oh, thank you for the translation. I may need another translation because now I'm not sure if I should say FAIC or just like phase or like fake or just call you 412. I am unsure. But regardless, thank you for the translation. I'm sorry I am dumb. And I guess thank you again also to Zorro, now that I'm aware of what they said. Say it like fake? Okay. That was like my initial assumption, but I didn't want to just like call you fake right away, because that seems very rude to say. Just like out of the blue, right? Like how wild would that be if that was incorrect? Imagine. This is one of those drawings where, because I was so like loose and used some real big chunky lines, I didn't want to add too many details with said lines because it would look weird and heavy. So I'm gonna start probably adding some details with the shadows instead. Speaking of which, I'm gonna turn this down so I can see what I'm doing. I could see it before, but it's even easier now. Plus, it'll probably get real confusing when I get to his hair, because his hair is usually darker than the lines, which means I'll have to darken the lines again. But we will cross that bridge when we come to it later. There's only like a little bit of shadow here, so I kind of want to put it there, but at the same time, I don't want to like... If it's distracting, I would rather omit it than not have it. Or omit it rather than actually have something, if that makes sense. Like, it needs to be big enough that it would reasonably need to be there, but if it was too minor, I would have not put it there, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because sometimes, you gotta focus more on the composition than just being accurate, you know? That's a thing that I struggle with sometimes is, well, not as much since doing these daily things where I kind of usually get to a point where I'm just like, that's good enough. But, yeah, sometimes it's important to kind of just, cut yourself some slack when you're, like, drawing and stuff. Because it's like, what you want at the end of it is a good composition and a good image that you're happy with, right? So it doesn't necessarily need to be photo accurate every time. If that were the case, I would suggest perhaps maybe moving into photography instead of illustration, where photo accuracy is more of an issue. Unless your like whole deal is to be photorealistic, in which case, like, by all means, do that. I don't have the patience for that, though, because that is very hard and takes a lot of time. And we're like the speedrunning of illustration out here, where we are all about trying to make sure that this gets finished before anything else. Oh my goodness. Whoa. So many subs. Wow. Hey, thanks for all the gifted subs. What a delight. And also, how terrifying. I was not expecting that at all. Legitimately startling. But thank you. I feel like I should really try to find some sort of emote sound or reward notification sounds. Some sort of audio thing to use on this here channel that doesn't terrify me immediately every time. Maybe it's just because I'm never expecting them. I'm just kind of like lost in whatever I'm rambling about at the time. But I feel like I'm startled every time anything happens on this channel. It was a peaceful chime, and yet here we are, still terrified. My fight or flight was triggered and everything. Not really, I'm just joking. That's an exaggeration. But still. Since this is all in shadow, I'm going to be a lot more liberal with the shadows, because this is further back. Ah! More gifts. What is happening? Key, how could you? How dare you startle me with your generosity? A hype train's apparently close. This is a notification I've never received before. So I'm not sure how those work exactly, but thank you. I was expecting computer voice lady, and I'm so glad that I waited before I said anything. I love it. You're being so generous out here. I can't hardly stand it. I think like this. I kind of stopped looking at the reference as soon as I figured this pose out, so I'm not sure if this lighting is correct even a little bit, but this is what we're going with, so. Thank you, DRE. I do it because people be thieves on the internet, and that is usually a spot that they do not crop out. So if I can fit it there, I will put it there. But like I was saying a second ago, I don't generally, like, if it's going to force the composition to suffer, then I'm not going to worry about it. Like in this case. So I'll probably just kind of put it next to him somewhere. But also, if it's prominent enough in like clothing or some other sort of detail like that, that means I don't have to put a signature somewhere else. Which is pretty cool. Because it means I don't have to add some weirdness to the composition that I wasn't entirely planning for. This probably wouldn't be here. But it looks weird to not have like any lighting on it at all. In my opinion, at least. I don't know. Just gonna put a little bit here. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure if it's coming through on my microphone, but man is my chair squeaky today. I know I mentioned it earlier, but I keep hearing it, so I'm probably going to mention it again at some point before the end of the stream. Oh, it is? Dang. I'm saddened by this. Like, I'm literally just sitting here. Anytime I even, like, minorly shift my weight, it's, like, loud. Maybe I'm just extra bothered by it because I hear it more often than you guys, I assume. Like, it's probably louder for me here, but also at the same time, it is my chair, so I hear it quite frequently. I'm glad it's not that bad, though. But now I do want a new chair even more. Add it to the list of stuff I need to buy. This whole section's in shadow, so we're just gonna fill the whole thing in. Now, if I was being very ambitious, because there's a whole section that's filled in with shadow like this, I would use that as an excuse to come back and do an additional layer of shadows. to make like this area under here a little bit darker or something. But also I'm gonna not do that. 'Cause I don't wanna. This is another part where adding a bunch of lines earlier would have been a little distracting, so just gonna do it with lighting instead. Which of them has a 5-star island on Animal Crossing? Jesse probably. Roz probably. Tank probably got to 4 and then stopped. Because he broke something somehow. Felix would if he played it enough to get to that point. But he's usually content with just phone games, so he didn't really play it that much. Good enough for this boy. I'm going to turn up the shadows just a tiny little bit. And then let's grab this color. Let's do a little bit of highlight. Just a little bit. Do another thing like that. He's like extra pouty, which is kind of fun. I feel like I haven't made him extra pouty in a little while. And since it's getting a little harder to see on those skin tones, I'm gonna lighten it up a little. Why is he on the floor? I was looking at a reference and the person was on the floor. I don't know. I thought it looked kind of neat. Oh, I guess I could show you. It was some kind of fashion ad. So I liked the pose. But we changed the color and made it Jesse instead of whoever that model was. And then, like, completely ignored all the lighting that was taking place. Aside from the cast shadow on the ground, I guess. Threw everything else in the trash. It's not that any of those things were bad. It is just that they did not fulfill the purposes of this drawing. which is understandable because that's not what they were intended for. I guess. I can't help but feel that I want to change the way that this goes. To be not so dramatic. I think that's okay. Oh, his hair. I was like, I know there's something else that would be hitting the light here. Oops. Highlights like this are especially good for Jesse because his hair is dark. So it helps to kind of separate it from the outlines a little more. Because the shadows tend to kind of make it all one big shape, you know? I think that's good enough for now. So that'll be those. Next I'm gonna... I lied, this is a little too big. So I'm gonna thin this out some. But then I'm gonna do another thing. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So now, I'm going to do this other thing. I'm going to fill this in with our highlight color. I lied, I'm not going to do that. I want it to be more like this kind of shape. I'm going to add a little bit more to his face here. Okay, so now I'm going to blur that. Right. Then, underneath that, I'm going to grab that color we used for the shadows. And kind of come in here. Let me turn this off for a second. Up. And I'm going to do another thing where we blur those. Then, just because it's easier, I'm going to grab that whole flat color layer and just flatten it so it's just one shape. But really all I needed was this bottom layer. I just didn't want to open up the thing I just did, which I guess I kind of defeated the purpose by opening it to show you. So, on this layer, we're going to select it, we're going to invert it, then we're going to come up to that layer we just made and clear everything that's not Jesse. And we're going to do the same thing. Select, invert our selection, come up here and clear everything that's not Jesse. So we can set this to like multiply a little bit, and we can set this one to like color dodge was kind of cool. So now we have like a slight gradient, and it sort of makes the light a little bit more dramatic. It's like kind of subtle in the moment, but when you toggle it on and off like this, it's like a very big difference. It's just like a real quick addition, but I think it helps out a lot. So if you're looking for yet another secret tip, there you go. Also, I'm going to need to darken this layer, I think. So instead of that thing I was about to do, I'm going to turn this layer into a clipping mask. I'm going to fill it, and then I'm going to turn it down to the point where it's still darker than his hair, but like not black. Probably want it a little darker, actually. Probably something like this. So I'm gonna grab that color. I'm gonna delete that, and then I can fill this in with that color. Same with his glasses. And now I'm gonna do that thing I was gonna do, and fill in everything beneath his glasses. Like where the lenses go. Just like a little quick little shape. Got the full-on anime glasses look. And we're going to set that to screen and just kind of turn it down a little bit. Whoops. And since our light is coming from this way, we want this portion of his glasses to kind of be a little bit lit up. Same down here. I'm not super concerned about it being out of the lines for now. Because I can just do that select and then inverse selection and then clear thing that I was doing before. I'm going to set that to screen also and turn that down some. And it'll give his glasses just the tiniest little bit of depth to the lenses. This is our glasses. So now we can see how he looks with and without his glasses on. Isn't that fun? This is all our values. We don't need this anymore. Okay, so now we're going to group everything together. We're going to duplicate and flatten that group. And now for the fun magical part, where I'm going to duplicate this so I don't have to flatten it again. later. But we're going to add some gradient maps, because sometimes that changes stuff in a really interesting way, like that just now. I usually do that one I just had and this one. They're both like default ones for Procreate. Let's try a mixture of that and... yeah, something like that. And there we go for those. It's a pretty subtle change that you can't really see. But trust me, it does something. Sometimes it does more than other times. But in this one in particular, it's not like crazy different, because we kind of adjusted for our palette early on. So we didn't have to do a whole ton of stuff. So now I gotta put my name on here somewhere. I think I'm gonna put it up here. There's a bit that came out of the lines, so I'm gonna use my name to distract from it. Because at this point, going back to fix it would be more of a pain, because we just made all those gradient map layers, so it'll be on all of those layers as well. And turn it down just a little bit. And just like that, we're pretty much done. I'm going to call this one done, I think. Wow, amazing. So, finishing touch. Going to put everything onto one layer, flatten it down, and grab a small round brush. Zoom in as far as we can. Delete 1 pixel. So now I can save it as a PNG, and compression hopefully will be less severe when I post it in various places online. So yeah, that'll be it for this one. I'll turn on the little replay so you guys can see it from the jump. But yeah, that'll about do it, I think. As always, you'll be able to see the full thing on Twitter and Instagram in probably like 15 minutes or something. But I think this will be where I call it for now. How fun. That actually went a lot faster than I was expecting. And my friend Ty is still streaming, so I guess let's go raid him and stuff. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. And thanks again for the almost hype train that happened. That was really interesting and fun and cool, and terrifying also. Maybe I will be back Wednesday. I plan to be back Wednesday, but the last time I said that, I took a nap before the stream and then slept through most of the stream. So, we shall see. Be sure to check Twitter and stuff. But for now, the plan is to be back on Wednesday. So, I will see you then, I guess. And in the meantime, have a wonderful weekend stuff. Go do something nice for somebody just for the sake of doing something nice for somebody. And, maybe someone will do the same for you. So, yeah. Have a great week. Be super chill. Be super rad to people. And we're gonna go raid Ty, I guess. He's playing It Takes Two. So, go and say hi, I guess. Goodbye, everybody.